Sometimes it feels like nothing's happening. You've prayed, you've believed, you've done everything you know how to do, and still it feels silent. But can I tell you something today? God is not silent. He's not ignoring you. He's working behind the scenes. Just because you don't see movement doesn't mean God isn't moving. Just because you don't feel progress doesn't mean progress isn't being made. You may not realize it, but right now, God is aligning people, opportunities, and moments in your favor. He's opening doors you can't even see yet. He's preparing blessings that your name is already written on. There are signs all around you that God is working, subtle signs, quiet moments, divine setups. You just have to look with eyes of faith. So today, I want to share with you 7 signs that God is helping you behind the scenes, even when life feels still, even when nothing seems to make sense. Sometimes the hardest thing to accept is a closed door. You prayed for it. You worked for it. You believed it was yours. You could already see yourself walking through it, but suddenly it slammed shut. And in that moment, confusion sets in. You start wondering, did I do something wrong? Did I miss God? But friend, what if that closed door wasn't rejection at all? What if it was protection? What if God shut that door? Because what's on the other side isn't part of your purpose. You see, God doesn't close doors to punish you. He closes them to preserve you. You might not see it now, but sometimes that relationship you wanted so badly would have drained your spirit. That job that looked so perfect would have buried your gift. That opportunity that felt right would have taken you off your divine path. God sees what you can't see. He hears conversations you'll never hear. He knows the motives of people you can't read. And when He closes a door, it's because He's saying, trust me, I know something you don't. It's not rejection. It's redirection. It's His way of saying, I've got something better in mind. Too many times, we bang on closed doors trying to force them open, thinking that if we just try harder, pray longer, or push stronger, we can make it happen. But the truth is, when God says no, it's for your good. That's not the time to get bitter. That's the time to get better. Every closed door is an invitation to trust His timing more deeply. You may not understand the why, but if you'll stay faithful in the what's next, God will show you the reason one day. The very thing that broke your heart today could be the reason you're smiling tomorrow. And here's the beauty of it. The same door that's closed now might not be closed forever. Sometimes, God closes doors temporarily until you're ready. He's still working on you, refining your character, strengthening your faith, preparing your hands to carry what you've been praying for. Because if He gave it too soon, it might destroy you instead of develop you. So don't get frustrated when doors close. God's no. Today is often setting you up for a much greater yes. Tomorrow. Trust that the author of your life knows exactly which doors are meant for you and which ones are not. We live in a world that celebrates speed. Everyone wants things fast, fast results, fast progress, fast answers. But God doesn't move according to our clock. He moves according to His purpose. Sometimes He allows delays not to discourage you, but to develop you. That season of waiting that feels endless isn't wasted. It's a divine classroom where patience, faith, and trust are taught. When things aren't happening as quickly as you hoped, it's easy to think God's forgotten you. But in reality, He's behind the scenes arranging every detail, setting things in motion that you can't see yet. His timing is never late. It's just different from ours. There's a reason God sometimes slows your journey. Because if He gave you everything too early, you wouldn't be ready to handle it. Delays are not punishment. They are preparation. Think about Joseph. He spent years in prison before stepping into the palace. David was anointed king, but spent years tending sheep before sitting on the throne. Moses wandered in the wilderness for decades before leading his people to freedom. The delay didn't destroy them, it developed them. What God is doing in your waiting season is shaping the person you're becoming. So when the promise finally arrives, you have the strength and wisdom to sustain it. Often we pray for direction, but when God gives us delay, we get frustrated. Yet many times, that delay is the direction. He's saying, stay where you are a little longer. Wet, I'm still working on something. Hold on. There's more I need to align before you move. The reason the opportunity hasn't opened up yet is because the stage isn't fully set. The reason that person hasn't come into your life yet is because God's still working on both hearts. You see, what looks like a standstill is often divine synchronization. God lining up people, timing, and circumstances perfectly. And when you finally arrive at what you've been waiting for, you'll understand why it took so long. The delay wasn't random. It was customized. Every moment of waiting was molding you, maturing you, and positioning you for the right door. If God had let it happen sooner, you might have settled for something smaller than what He planned. So the next time life slows down and you feel stuck between your prayer and its answer, remember, delay doesn't mean denial. It means God is still writing, still orchestrating, still preparing something greater than you asked for. There are moments in life when everything around you seems to be falling apart. The storm is raging, the news is bad, the pressure is high, and yet, deep inside, you feel a calm you can't explain. That's not coincidence. That's not denial. That's the presence of God. That peace that doesn't make sense to your mind is a sign that heaven is near. It's God whispering, I'm still in control. The world might be shaking, but you are anchored. You might not know how things will work out, but somehow you know they will. That peace in chaos isn't weakness. It's divine strength holding you steady when everything else is unstable. When God is working behind the scenes, one of the first signs is peace that contradicts your situation. Your circumstances scream fear, but your spirit feels calm. Your mind says panic, but your heart says, be still. That's how you know God's hand is on your life. Because peace isn't the absence of problems. It's the presence of God in the middle of them. Anyone can feel peaceful when everything's perfect. But real faith is when you can stand firm, smile, and trust even when nothing around you makes sense. That peace is heaven's assurance that God is already handling what you can't. There's a reason Scripture calls it the peace that passes all understanding. It means you can't explain it logically. You just sense that something bigger than you is at work. It's like being in the eye of a hurricane. Everything around you is chaotic, but in that center, it's calm. That calm is not weakness, it's divine evidence. It's God wrapping His arms around you saying, I've got this. Don't be afraid. When you choose peace over panic, you're declaring your trust in Him. You're saying, God, even if I don't see the outcome, I trust your process. And that kind of faith moves mountains. So the next time life throws you into chaos, and yet you find yourself strangely calm, don't overlook it. That peace isn't ordinary. That's not your mind being numb. That's your spirit recognizing God's presence. That peace is proof that the battle is not yours. It's the Lord's. It's His gentle reminder that you're not walking through the storm alone. You're being carried. You're being guided. And even when everything seems uncertain, that inner stillness is the quiet voice of God saying, keep going. I'm already ahead of you. Have you ever been in a moment where you didn't know how things were going to work out? And then, out of nowhere, something or someone stepped in to help. You didn't plan it, you didn't see it coming, but the answer arrived right on time. That's not luck. That's not coincidence. That's God working behind the scenes. When the odds are stacked against you, and suddenly help appears from an unexpected place, that's divine intervention. God knows exactly what you need, when you need it, and how to send it. He may not always come the way you expect, but He always comes right on schedule. Sometimes, the person who helps you isn't even aware they're being used by God. They might think it's just a small favor, but heaven orchestrated that encounter long before you even knew you'd need it. God has a way of positioning people, bosses, friends, even strangers, to be right where you need them at the exact right time. That check that came in the mail, that phone call you received at your lowest moment, that opportunity that opened up just before you gave up, that's not random. That's a reminder that God's provision knows no limits. He can use anyone, anywhere, at any time to deliver your blessing. It's easy to overlook these moments because they don't always come with fireworks. Sometimes help shows up quietly through a kind word, a small open door, or a simple act of grace. But make no mistake, God is behind it. He's the master orchestrator, weaving together details you could never coordinate yourself. While you were worrying about how to fix the problem, He was already sending someone your way. You may not see how He's doing it, but His fingerprints are all over the help you receive. It's His way of saying, I see you. I haven't forgotten you. I'm still taking care of you. And here's the beautiful thing. When God sends help, it's always more than enough. He doesn't just meet your need, He exceeds it. You might have been praying for a small blessing, but He had something greater in mind. He knows how to surprise you with abundance, how to open doors you didn't even knock on, and how to connect you with people who carry what you've been praying for. Every time help comes from an unexpected place, it's proof that heaven is still involved in your story. Even when you can't trace the hand of God, you can always trust the help He sends. There are seasons in life when the pressure feels unbearable. You're doing everything right, working hard, staying faithful, trying to keep your head up, and yet it feels like everything is pushing against you. You wonder, why is this happening to me? But what if that pressure isn't punishment? It's preparation. What if what you think is breaking you is actually stretching you for something bigger? You see, God doesn't waste pain. Every test, every trial, every uncomfortable stretch has a purpose. When God stretches you, it's because He's expanding your capacity for what's coming next. He's not trying to crush you. He's trying to equip you. Think about a seed. Before it becomes a tree, it must first be buried, cracked open, and pushed through the dirt. That's not destruction, it's transformation. In the same way, when life feels heavy, when you feel like you're being pulled in every direction, that's often the moment God is growing something inside you. Growth never happens in comfort. You can't develop patience until your patience is tested. You can't strengthen your faith until faith is the only thing you have left. God stretches you to show you what you're truly made of, and to prove that His strength is greater than your struggle. Sometimes, the stretching season is quiet. Nobody sees your tears. Nobody understands your fight. But God does. He sees every late night, every prayer whispered through exhaustion, every moment you choose faith over fear. And though it hurts, it's in those moments that He's shaping your character, building your endurance, and deepening your trust. Pressure produces progress. Diamonds are formed under heat, and muscles grow through resistance. Likewise, your spirit becomes stronger through seasons of stretching. The very thing that feels unbearable now will become the foundation of your strength later. And here's the truth. If God allowed it, He intends to use it. He wouldn't let you walk through something that won't serve your future. Every stretch is strategic. Every challenge has meaning. What feels like you're about to break is actually the moment you're about to break through. God is enlarging your heart, your vision, your faith, because the next level of blessing requires a bigger version of you. So when you feel the weight pressing down, don't give up. That pressure is not to destroy you. It's to reveal the strength you didn't know you had. You're not being broken, you're being built. There comes a time in life when what once worked suddenly doesn't anymore. The people you used to depend on drift away. The plans you were sure about fall apart. The things that used to make sense now feel uncertain. It's confusing. It's painful. But can I tell you something? Sometimes God allows certain things to end. Not because He's punishing you, but because He's promoting you. You've outgrown where you are. That chapter served its purpose, but it can't carry you into what's next. God will sometimes shake up your comfort to shift you into your calling. He lets the old fall away so the new can take shape. When things start falling apart, it's natural to cling tighter, to try and hold everything together. But sometimes God has to let things break so He can rebuild them the right way. That friendship that faded, that job that ended, that door that closed. It might feel like loss, but it's actually liberation. You were never meant to stay stuck in something that no longer grows you. God knows when something has expired, even if you don't. He knows when it's time to move you forward. And if He didn't allow it to fall apart, you'd never have the courage to step into the new. You see, God specializes in divine disruption. He'll disturb what's comfortable to make room for what's miraculous. Sometimes He'll remove what's good so He can replace it with what's greater. And though in the moment it feels unfair, later you'll realize it was favor. You'll look back and say, if that hadn't ended, I would have never discovered what I have now. You can't receive the new thing God has prepared while your hands are still holding onto the old. So when something begins to fall apart, don't fight it. Flow with it. Trust that it's not falling apart, it's falling into place. And maybe right now, you're standing in the middle of that collapse. You don't see the blessing yet, only the broken pieces. But friend, that's where God does His best work. He takes what's falling apart and turns it into something stronger, something more aligned with His plan. You may have lost a season, but you haven't lost your destiny. God's endings are always the beginning of something greater. What feels like a setback is often a setup for your next chapter. The breaking isn't to destroy you. It's to make room for a new beginning that's far beyond what you could imagine. There's a certain feeling that words can't quite describe. A quiet confidence deep in your spirit that tells you something good is on the horizon. Nothing around you has changed yet. You don't have the proof. You can't explain it to anyone. But deep down, you know. That's not wishful thinking or blind optimism. That's the Spirit of God stirring inside you. It's His way of whispering, "Get ready. I'm about to move." When God begins to shift things in your favor, He often lets your spirit sense it before your eyes see it. That inner nudge, that excitement without reason, that renewed hope after a long dry season, that's not random. That's heaven giving you a preview of what's to come. You see, faith always sees it before it happens. Long before your circumstances change, your spirit starts to anticipate it. That's why sometimes you'll wake up with a new sense of peace, even though nothing in your situation has improved. You might find yourself smiling again for no logical reason, or feeling lighter even though the problem still exists. That's not delusion. That's divine confirmation. God is aligning things behind the scenes, and your spirit can feel the momentum building. He allows you to feel it first, so that when it finally manifests, you'll recognize it's His hand at work. When that quiet confidence rises up, don't dismiss it. That's not just emotion, it's revelation. God is giving you a glimpse of what He's preparing. The reason you feel that spiritual excitement is because heaven is in motion. Angels are being assigned, opportunities are being arranged. Hearts are being prepared. You might not see the evidence yet, but something is shifting in the unseen realm. And that inner knowing is your cue to stay expectant, stay faithful, and stay ready. Don't let circumstances talk you out of what your spirit already knows. If God put that feeling in your heart, it's because He's already started the work. And here's the amazing part. When you learn to recognize that quiet confidence, you'll stop living by sight and start living by faith. You'll understand that God always reveals things spiritually before He releases them physically. That sense of anticipation isn't false hope. It's a divine signal that your season is changing. The wind of favor is starting to blow. Doors are about to open. What you've been praying for is making its way toward you, even if you can't see it yet. That's why your heart feels different, your spirit feels alive, and your hope feels renewed, because something's coming, something God ordained, something life-changing, something worth the wait. So, if you've been wondering where God is, if you've been questioning whether He still hears your prayers, let this message be your reminder. He's closer than you think. He's not distant. He's not silent. He's been working all along, arranging every detail, moving every piece, preparing every blessing with your name written on it. You may not see it yet, but heaven has already started the process. Every closed door, every delay, every stretch, every unexpected help, it's all part of His plan. You see, God never wastes a season. The moments that confuse you are often the ones that are creating you. The times that hurt you are the ones that are positioning you. You may not understand it right now, but one day you'll look back and say, "That's why that had to happen. That's why it didn't work out. God was working behind the scenes for my good." So keep your head high and your faith strong. Keep believing even when you can't see the full picture. Because right now God is setting things in motion that will make sense later. The healing, the breakthrough, the opportunity, it's all on its way. And when it arrives, you'll realize it didn't come from your effort. It came from His hand. God is not finished with your story. He's just writing the part you can't see yet. So walk in peace, walk in faith, walk in quiet confidence, knowing that the same God who began a good work and you will be faithful to complete it. Because even when you can't see Him working, He always is.